So here's the lineup.
In lane 1, Israel. Lane 2, Germany. Lane 3, Great Britain. Lane 4, Italy. Lane 5, Ukraine. And we have on the card there, lane 6, Eric Horry. But we know that Eric has withdrawn due to medical reasons from this A final.
Such a disappointment not to see the former world champion in the PR1 and singles not on the start line. But this man from Israel, done so well, Shimul Daniel, getting quicker and quicker, the 38-year-old lecturer. And runs at the Daniel Rowing Centre. Markus Klemp had a great regatta, the German from Berlin. So has the next man here, the Welshman Ben Pritchard, representing Great Britain, the former cyclist and triathlete. Now here, up for a medal. Well, the Italian sensation, Giacomo Perini, won the heat, beat Polianski. What was Polianski keeping in reserve, the 2022 world champion? Well, here he is. The man who trains in Dnipro, in the southwest of Ukraine. Not safe from Russian bombs and missiles. You get air raid warnings most nights, but Polianski from the Kyiv in the Donetsk province of the Ukraine is on this near side lane. So pretty much the two favourites are next to each other in this race.
Yeah, that's right, the two favourites over here. If you add Ben Pritchard in, we're seeing his blades there. It's the three Ps, Pritchard, Perini and Polianski. And interesting for Polianski, I guess the Ukrainian sculler we see is back there, getting beaten in the semi-final by Perini. So he's now on the outside and he hasn't got Eric Horry there. And I just wonder how that will affect him.
I think it's hard when you're off to the side like that on your own. He would have been, assuming that he would have had Eric Horry there, able to be a pace boat and really be in this race. But I think it's really tough for Polianski, but he is the Paralympic champion. He is the one to beat. What do Ben Pritchard and Giacomo Perini have to offer here? Perini a little bit slower off the blocks, but not unusual. We know he's a bit of a slower starter and will come through in the second half of this race.
Ben Pritchard, I haven't seen a start as quick as that ever. Is the British sculler out for gold in this race? Over on the far side, Markus Klemp in the yellow boat, trucking. Perini will come through. I guess he's going to lead at 500. Polianski maybe in the second and third quarters.
Well, that's Ben Pritchard in the centre of the course. He's got that early lead. Up with him is Shimul Daniel, the Israeli, up in lane 1. He got that flyer of a start. Look at him right out there. It was Markus Klemp who rode a very conservative race in the semi-final, came through later, so we might see more of him later.
Thanks, Greg. I mistook Daniel for Klemp there. Thanks for the shout.
So we see Ben Pritchard on screen. Recently become a dad, and I'm sure his family and friends are all watching with great interest here. A fast start from Shimul Daniel, though, as you said, over in lane 1, although we're used to seeing this, but I suspect that the crews in the middle of the race in the second and third 500s will really start to wind things up.
Yeah, well, it's a big move from Shimul Daniel. We see him over here at the top of the screen, up on lane number 1. He's getting very good speed out of that. He's at 37 strokes a minute. It's Markus Klemp who's the only one who rates very low here. He gets a longer stroke. You see him rock back, actually, right against that backrest that he has. All the others tend to sit about 36 to 40 somewhere.
And we were talking about racing earlier over lunchtime, and you get this idea of flying die, where you go out really quickly, someone in the outside lane, lane 1 or perhaps lane 6, there's Roman Polianski. Just wonder with Shimul Daniel, he's improved so much since he was in the C final when he first came into the sport back in 2017. But it's a big ask to maintain that lead.
We see Markus Klemp there on screen. He's currently rating 30 strokes per minute. Out of medal contention at this stage in the race. It's quite a big gap back to the leading scullers, and confirmation coming through the first 500-metre mark. It is Shimul Daniel of Israel, followed by Roman Polianski, third Giacomo Perini, fourth Ben Pritchard, and fifth Markus Klemp. So huge move here by Perini and Polianski to get themselves up into medal contention.
Yeah, I guess so far so predictable in a way that Polianski has made this move here. He's the para champion, he's the world champion. He's now getting this lead in the second 500, coming through Shimul Daniel on the far side.
There he is, the Israeli Polyansky. If you remember that incredible race at the Worlds last year, there's Giacomo Perini, the young Italian amputee who is sculling in this race, currently in 3rd place. But Perini led that World Championship final, and Polyansky hunted him down the whole way in the last quarter and got through him on the line, and it was a real surprise. So this is not the way the race unfolded at the Worlds last year.
Yeah, quite different to see it, the way Polyansky's gone out early here in this second 500. He'll be pleased to see the boys passing through the 750, see those red markers at the corner of his eyes. And yeah, look at him, still the fastest moving boat on the water.
Well, he got done by Perini in the heat, didn't he? And you just wonder, was the wily Ukrainian keeping something in reserve? Ben Pritchard there, a man who loves coffee, recovering from surgery this year, back into the boat. He'll be delighted with his form out here.
And these 3 trailing boats locking together now. In fact, their bow balls starting to level up. Italy, Israel, Great Britain, Marcus Klemp is clear water down. I think it's going to be really tough for him to come back into this race for a medal. But a race here for Shmuel Daniel. He's doing incredibly well.
Well, Shmuel Daniel made that strong start at the top of the screen. Polyansky's gone for it here in this second 500 at the moment. He's still moving on Giacomo Perini and Ben Pritchard to his left. Ben Pritchard, as you said, Martin, hasn't been racing this year. This is his first time out at the World Championships. A new father. He's moving into that bronze medal position. You can see it on the graphic. You can see it on the picture. I'm just really interested in how big this gap is for the second place between Polyansky and Perini.
Just to check on the time, Polyansky set the world's best at 4:20 through the 1,000 metres. He was 4:23 there in conditions nothing like as quick as when he set that world's best time. So he is absolutely trucking.
And it's interesting, of course, notable absentee is Eric Horry, the 3-time Paralympic silver medalist from this race. You sort of think, where would Eric be sitting? We wish him all the best with his recovery from his injury. He's qualified the boat for the Paralympic Games next year, so we know he will be back. But for our viewers, this is the PR1 men's single scull. PR1 are rowers with minimal or no trunk function who primarily propel the boat through the arms and shoulder function. And these rowers have what is generally a poor sitting balance, so that means that they do have a strap keeping them strapped into the boat or the seat.
Well, Roman Polyansky there will love to see that red buoy marker go past him to mark that it's 12:50, just 7:50 to go now. And this gap is not getting any smaller between him and the Italian sculler.
I don't know, I was thinking Perini might have closed a metre or two, actually, the Italian. Marcus Klemp, I think, is moving past Shmuel Daniel into 3rd place. The German sculler from Offenbacher Rüdigesellschaft, 5th last year.
Well, we're getting a look there. There's Perini in boat number 4. Then you've got Ben Pritchard. He's trying to make sure he can be safe in that bronze medal position, keeping Shmuel Daniel, keeping Marcus Klemp behind him. But this is our current silver medalist, taking a look over his right shoulder and seeing if he can indeed close that gap to Polyansky as we're coming up with just 500 to go.
I think Polyansky has really timed this race well. All of these athletes have really different race profiles and really different ways of sculling, and I think he's done an excellent analysis of this field, and I think really been dangerous at the right time, taking an advantage and trying to open up a clear water lead. That is a massive lead that he's got over Perini, but we know that Perini is a fast finisher. He's up at 38 strokes per minute. Can Perini close this gap, which has been opened up by Polyansky through the middle 1,000?
Yeah, well, it was a great move. It came pretty much about 500 gone that Roman Polyansky made his move. He had a big middle 1,000. He moved up on Giacomo Perini. That gap is still holding right now. We can tell you that from our graphic. Ben Pritchard looking pretty solid for that bronze medal in the centre of the picture. Unless Shmuel Daniel over there can do something very special to come back for the bronze. But how about this, Martin Cross? Roman Polyansky at the front of the field and out of our picture.
He's out the side, isn't he? Perini is really pushing through the middle of the stroke. He's 20 metres behind. He's going to head, I think, Ben Pritchard, the Welshman, as Roman Polyansky serves us up an incredible feat of Paralympic sculling. He finished second in the semi-final. But this guy's a wily competitor, isn't he? He wasn't showing everything he was capable of there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about that he found himself coming second in the semi-final, so he's not in the centre lane, but you just wonder whether he held back a little bit and thought, OK, you can have your day today, Giacomo Perini, but I'm going to try and have my day on Sunday. And so far, here we go. We're coming down into those red buoys, and is this going to be his day?
So we see there the back of the Paralympic champion, Roman Polianski. But look at Pritchard now. He's making a move on Perini, the Italian. Can Ben Pritchard get himself up into this silver medal position? They're coming down to the last few hundred metres. It's going to have to be a big step up if he's going to do that.
Well, you can see it from this drone shot. We've got our first, second and third positions looking like they could be set unless something very spectacular can happen. You see that boat number 4. That is Giacomo Perini. Will he manage to close this gap, or is Roman Polianski going to hold this one all the way to the line?
So Roman Polianski, the Paralympic champion from 21, the world champion from 22, will shortly add the world champion of 23 to his laurels. The Ukrainian crosses the line, a fantastically judged race from the Ukrainian. Perini has to settle for silver. It's Ben Pritchard coming across the line. Once more, a bronze medal for the Welshman. And Marcus Klemp from Germany does just get through. Shimul Daniel, the Israeli, and he will take 4th place, and Shimul Daniel will take 5th place in that final.
Well, a wonderful scull from Roman Polianski. That was fantastic what he did over Giacomo Perini, who'd beaten him in the semi-final, but he knew that this was the one that mattered. Ben Pritchard, we see him there. You can see how much pain he's in. I hope you're all right, Ben. You look quite wobbly there, just gently turning the boat around. I can only imagine the effort that was required to get through Shimul Daniel and hold Marcus Klemp behind.
And we did have one of the PR scullers in the B final actually fall into the water at the finish, didn't we? Was it Colin Marud? So here's some replays of the race.
And confirmation that Roman Polianski set a new world championship best time. So that was set last year by Giacomo Perini at the World Championships of 9 minutes, 0.84. And Roman Polianski has gone just underneath that, 8:59.60. So still a little way off the world best time, but a new world championship best time for the Ukrainian.
And that, along with this gold medal, is worth a clenched fist from Roman Polianski. As you see, that time just under 9 minutes. Fantastic in these pretty flat, calm conditions.
Representing Ukraine.
Osvajač zlatne medalje i titule šampiona svjetskog prvenstva u veslanje 2023. predstavnik Ukrajine